Okay, girls and boys, if we can put on our indoor voices. Very good. Very good. Y'all did well. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. My name is Elaine Faithful, and I'm the chair of the Worship Associate team here at the Clemson Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. We have so many wonderful visitors with us this morning, in person and online. For those here in the sanctuary, I would like to take care of a little bit of housekeeping. With our visitors with us this morning, there is a poop station in the back. We have paper towels and cleaners, and we'll be delighted if you can use them, or you don't. Anyway, stuff happens. It's good to be with you here this morning. Whoever you are, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whom you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. We are glad that you chose our fellowship as a place of worship this morning. We come together for worship in order to slow down and to listen to the calling within ourselves, within our hearts. We come together for worship so that we may be reminded of our highest aspirations and to continue to transform ourselves into our best selves. If you are joining us for the first time today, welcome. I encourage you, if you're feeling comfortable to do so, to stand and introduce yourselves. Yep. No new face. Oh, yes, we do have a visitor. For those of you who could not hear, this is Alyssa Branham Martin. You might recognize that last name. I want to remind everybody that after the service there's coffee and refreshments, and it's a nice spread this morning. I encourage you to join us for a little bit of social. If you're interested and do not yet get our newsletter, I encourage you to go to our website. It helps you to keep up with what's going on in the congregation, everything from our social justice activity to our social activities, and to learn what's going on in our community. I have a few announcements I'd like to make this morning. With cautious optimism, the UUFC is celebrating the COVID numbers are low in the upstate right now. Beginning this week, masks will be optional here at UUFC. We will continue to monitor the numbers and will revert to the old reentry phase if it is needed. UUFC will continue to keep all safe, especially those who are immunocompromised, who cannot get vaccines safely, or those in the younger members of our congregation who don't have vaccines available to them yet. UUFC will continue to have masks on hand in the main door for anyone who needs them. Last night, there was a group of us that sat around the fire pit, and I have to tell you, folks, that is just one of the best ways to get to know people in your congregation, and also to spend time with friends. We have another one coming up this Friday. You can go online, go through the newsletter. There's a link to sign up for it, and if you don't know yet, it's right there in front of the garage behind the Founder's House. And we've got some very skilled fire builders. So, one. Lastly, this is my announcement. I am incredibly grateful to all the donations that have been made to our auction so far. We are still little bit away from our goal, and I want people to think, I want you guys to think that even though the event is in May 14th, there's a whole lot of work that's got to be done between now and then. So we'd like to get all of our contributions in as quickly as possible so we can lay out a computer program so you'll be able to bid online. And that's going to involve photographs and putting in data and everything. So the sooner you're able to offer your donations, the better. Remember, I want 10 dinners. 10 dinners. I'd like to have 10 excursions, trips to various places around our area for day trips, to have lunch, to see the sights. I would like to have 20 hours, 200 hours of service auctions. That means when you can provide hours of service to the other members of your congregation. And lastly, I would like to get 20 contributions of original art, whether it be the crafts that you've created by your own hands, or the paintings that you've painted, or photographs that you've made, or even those that have been given to you and you're ready just to move them out of your collection. So encourage you to get in touch with me as soon as possible. I apologize, my contact information is not in the newsletter, so if you need me, ask for me after the service and I'll give you my my email. I would like for you all, if you will, for a moment to stand and to greet each other and to quietly pet each other's pets. I think we're all happy to see each other this morning. Actually, since we were standing, and now since we were standing and now we've been seated again, I'm going to suggest that we stay seated instead of getting up and down. So our first hymn this morning is number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In the gray hymnal. Thank you. Y'all are in good fiddle this morning. Hold on just a second. All right, okay. All right, I just had to get my place. Our opening words this morning focus in on our good friends that are here with us this morning. As we gather this morning with our new friends and old, it is befitting that we celebrate today the other members of our families, those four-legged, those two-legged, and those no-legged beloved companions we call our pets. I don't think we have any three-legged ones here today. Our cats and our dogs, our lizards and snakes, our turtles and guinea pigs, and all the other kinds of animals that we share our home and our lives with are dear to us in ways that perhaps only fellow animal lovers can really appreciate. And my guess is that if you knew what was the focus of today's service and you decided to come anyway, then you're one of us. Today we will bless and honor not only our animal friends we know and love, but also the big and small, the domestic and the wild that exist everywhere. In the words of Unitarian Universalist minister Nancy Schaefer, we will bless and honor with our words and songs the ants and the aardvarks, the sparrows and the spiders, the whales and the wallabies. It's right to bless and honor all animals that depend upon us to protect their habitats from destruction. Let us bless them with our commitment to live sustainably and honor them with our commitment to take care of the air and the land, the streams, the rivers, and the seas, so that our planet remains healthy and whole for all living things.
It is so good to be with you this morning. My name is Reverend Christina Branham Martin, and I'm the interim minister here at the fellowship. And we are to light our chalice now, and my daughter is going to help me. Alyssa, would you come up with me? Here you go. May this flame remind us that ours is a faith that calls us to act with love, the warmth of love and the energy of action for the well-being of all persons and all living things, animals and life on earth. Would you share with me in the reading of the words of affirmation that are printed on your order of service? We gather together the spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. And next we have a really great story that Karen will share with us.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll start. Yeah. No, I meant the other one. The title page. Yeah. Now that we had a preview, the trailer. So first off, welcome everybody, and welcome to all of our four-legged friends this morning who are obviously very excited about making more four-legged friends and two-legged friends as well. I personally have been having a great deal of fun saying hello to all of them. So in honor of our four-legged friends joining us this morning, we have the story of a very remarkable relationship. It is the story of Owen and Mazet. And this is a true story, and some of you may remember hearing about it some 15 years ago now. So this is the true story of two great friends, a baby hippopotamus named Owen, and a 130-year-old giant tortoise named Mazet. The hippo was not always friends with the tortoise. He wasn't always known as Owen, and Owen was not always famous. Here's how it all happened. Before the baby hippopotamus became known as Owen, he lived with his family in a pod, which was a pod, about 20 hippos in a group. And they fed and wallowed along the Sabaki River in Kenya, which is a nation on the east coast of Africa. When he was about 1 year old, heavy December rains flooded the river, and all of that racing water washed Owen and all of his family down the river until the fresh water became salty and the river flowed out into the Indian Ocean. And that was near a small coastal village named Malindi. Now, for days, the people of Malindi tried to chase the hippos back up the river. But there were lots of good grasses growing there, and the hippos were happy and well-fed, and they just didn't want to go. And since hippos, some of you may not know this, but hippos are the most dangerous animal in Africa. And a full-grown adult can weigh as much as 8,000 pounds. So the villagers were kind of outmatched, and the hippos stayed. But on the morning of December 26, 2004, the sea suddenly rushed high up onto the beach, and surging waves pounded the shore. Now, some of you might remember this as the tsunami in the Indian Ocean. So, but after the wave had passed back out, there were damaged boats, and fishermen had to be rescued. And when everything was calm again, it was a couple of days before anybody thought to check on the hippos. And when they did, they only saw one baby hippopotamus in the sea, a baby without his mother, stranded on a sandy coral reef among the seagrass. Tired and frightened, he couldn't reach the shore on his own. So hundreds of villagers and visitors set to work trying to help the young hippo. They knew if he stayed out there, he would get sick, and he wouldn't be able to stay in the salty water for very long. So they tried to use ropes, boats, fishing nets, and even cars to rescue him. But it was soon clear that this rescue wasn't going to be easy. Although the baby hippo was only about 2 feet tall, he weighed in already at a hefty 650 pounds, and he was slippery, and he was strong. And he wasn't exactly keen on all these people being around, and he was probably pretty scared. So he broke through their nets, and he escaped from their ropes, and hours went by, and people were starting to get kind of anxious that they weren't going to be able to help this poor baby hippo. Finally, somebody came along with a stronger shark net, and the rescuers were able to catch him. And then one brave person named Owen Sobian tackled him and sat on him long enough to let the others secure the net. So that's how the baby hippo got the name Owen. So at last they got the baby hippo onto the land, and a cheer went up, and they wrapped him in the net, and they hoisted him into the back of a pickup truck and brought him to a shady spot. Now, they weren't exactly sure what in the world they could do for this baby hippo. I mean, nobody there knew anything about how to raise a hippo. So they called a nearby animal park called Haller Park, which is about 50 miles away near Mombasa. And Dr. Paula Kahumba, who's on your left there, was the manager, and she immediately offered Owen a safe place to live with them. She explained that he could never be returned to the wild. Since he was still a baby, he wouldn't have learned yet how to fend for himself. And he would never be welcomed into another hippopod because they would see him as a stranger and probably attack him. But they said that they had a good place to care for him. And she offered to drive all the way down to Malindi herself to bring Owen to his new home. She brought along with her the guy in the middle there, Stephen Toohey. Now, he was their chief animal caretaker, and he had a special way with animals. Some people said he could even talk to them. She thought he might be kind of helpful with helping with Owen. Meanwhile, other people at the park got to work making a home. And even the pages aren't cooperating this morning. When Dr. Paula and Stephen got to Melindy, they got Owen into out of the pickup truck, and boy, he didn't like that either. So he got even more upset and put up more of a fight. And they tried to calm him down by wrapping a blanket around his head so that he couldn't see, all that was going on. And, he was still angry about that too. But it took a long time, but they finally got that poor little hippo into her truck and got him on the road back to Hyler Park. Meanwhile, they were preparing a home for him, an enclosure. They chose a part of the park that had a pond and a mud wallow and, all the things that hippos like. The area was already home to a number of bush bucks, verver monkeys, and a giant Aldabra tortoise called Mzee. Mzee, whose name means wise old man in the Swahili language, was the oldest creature in the park. They weren't sure exactly how old he is, but the best estimates at that time were he's about 130 years old. And he had been alive since before Stephen, the animal caretaker's great-great-great-grandmother, had been born. He wasn't friendly except to Stephen, who seemed to know just what he liked, such as getting tickled under the chin. And that was that last picture we saw several times with the two of them together. Otherwise, Mzee kept to himself. But boy, was his life about to change. When Dr. Paula and Stephen arrived with Owen, he was weak and exhausted. But as soon as the ropes that held him, that were around him, came untied, Owen scrambled from that truck and ran directly to Mzee. But now Mzee was just hanging out in the corner of the enclosure, minding his own business. But Owen ran up, crouched behind him, the way baby hippos often will hide behind their own mothers for protection. At first, Mzee was not happy about this attention. He hissed at Owen and crawled away. But Owen, who could easily keep up with the old tortoise, did not give up. I think it's the next, yeah. As the night went on, Mzee began to accept his new companion, and when the caretakers came out in the morning and checked on them, they found Owen snuggled up next to Mzee, and Mzee didn't seem to mind at all. Over the next few days, Mzee continued to crawl away, and Owen continued to follow. But sometimes it was Owen who would walk away, and Mzee would follow him. Bit by bit, Mzee got friendlier. And then they noticed that Owen wasn't really eating, and they were starting to worry that he wasn't going to, be able to stay healthy and get heavier. So they had left leaves out for him, but Owen wasn't eating them. Then they noticed one day that Owen was feeding right next to Mzee. It was as if Mzee was showing him how to eat the leaves, and Owen was following along. Or maybe it was just the fact that having Mzee there made Owen calmer and he was able to eat. We're never really going to know for sure, but it was clear that the bond between these two animals was helping Owen recover. As the weeks went on, Owen and Mzee spent more and more time together. They became inseparable. They swim together today, they eat together today, they drink together, and they sleep next to each other. They rub noses. One leads the way to different parts of the enclosure, and then the other one will lead the way. And Owen playfully likes to nuzz Mzee's neck, and Mzee stretches his neck forward, asking for more, just like he does when his human caretaker, Stephen, tickles him under the chin. Though both of these animals are big and heavy and can easily injure each other, they're always gentle with one another. They kind of have a sense of trust that's grown between them. Now, wildlife experts are still puzzled about how this unlikely friendship came to be. Most have never heard of a mammal such as Owen and a reptile such as Mzee forming such a strong bond. Perhaps for Owen it happened something like this. Young hippos need their mothers in order to survive. An old, slow tortoise like Mzee can never protect Owen the way his fierce hippo mother could. But since Mzee's coloring and rounded shape are similar to a hippo's, it's possible that to Owen, Mzee looks like the hippo mother he needs. Harder to explain is the affection that Mazet seems to show for Owen. Like most Aldabra tortoises, Mazet had always preferred to be alone. But sometimes these tortoises do live in groups, and perhaps Mazet sees Owen as a fellow tortoise, the first tortoise he is willing to spend time with. Or perhaps Mazet knows Owen isn't a tortoise and likes him anyway. The reasons are unclear, but science can't always explain what the heart already knows. Our most important friends are sometimes those that we least expected. So news of Owen and Mazet's friendship spread quickly around the world, and people all over the world have come to love Owen, who endured so much, yet never gave up, and Mazet, who became Owen's friend when he needed one the most. Their photographs have appeared in countless newspapers and magazine articles, television programs, and even a documentary film have been made about them, as well as 2 children's books. Visitors come to the park every day to meet the famous friends. Owen suffered a great loss, but with the help of many caring people and through his extraordinary resilience, Owen has begun a new, happy life. Most remarkable is the role that Mazet has played. We'll never know for sure whether Owen sees Mazet as a mother, a father, or a very good friend, but it really doesn't matter. What matters is that Owen isn't alone, and neither is Mazet. And that is the true story of Owen and Mazet, 2 great friends. And then the last one is the slide of Stephen and Mazet.
Come and help collect the canned goods for the wagon. If you have joys and concerns, please put them in the collection plate. Thank you, children, for all of your help. Our wagon is getting quite full. I think we need a trip soon to drop things off. It's wonderful. It is so nice that we can do this for our community at large, and this is a new tradition for me because I started during a time when we were not together in person, and so it is so nice to be able to see a tradition continue and come back again to UUFC. Thank you, Talia. Oh, no. Didn't go all the way around yet. Didn't go all the way around yet. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
We thank you for these gifts that you bring to our community, for the work of this church, inside of this community, but also out in the larger world. Your gifts to good deeds. Come into the time of celebrating our joys and concerns together as a community. Cindy Lee, we are so glad you're here so that we can hold you in care today. She shares that her father, Dan Lee, is under hospice care. Please send him strong thoughts. And we hold you in care and your whole family too. Jorge wants to share that their cat, Catalina, is missing since Friday. Oh, we hope that your cat comes home. Wow.
Mike wants to share that his wife Jane was named Outstanding Alumni by the Clemson Department of Civil Engineering this past Friday. Fantastic. Oh, and Martha is celebrating today that she has an appointment for her booster number 2 this coming week. Oh, today. Fantastic. Meg, where are you, Meg? Hi, Meg. Meg is basking in the warmth of the fire pit gathering hosted by Reverend Christina. There's another one this Friday, so sign up if you're interested. Last night we had a group of 16 people. It was wonderful. We hope that you can come to another. And I'm not putting in the stones one by one, so I counted 5 cards. I'm going to put 5 stones in and 1 more for all the things that we carry in our hearts, the joys that we celebrate and the sorrows that keep us quiet. Is there any child who wants to share a stone for anything today, or are we good? I figured, come here. Can you whisper in my ear? Elissa wants to share that she hopes that everyone has a great time, and especially the animals. I want to share that we have an interesting story, and knowing that we've got animals amongst us who are really so well behaved at this particular moment, I'm going to keep this story short. Today is not the day for a long sermon. In the blessing of the animal service today, we celebrate both animals and blessings. Oh, and the song. Please come sing. Yes, and then I'll share the story. Please.
Bless the beast and the children, for in this world they have no voice. They have no choice. Bless the beast and the children, for the world can never be the world they see. Light their way when the darkness surrounds them. Give them love, let it shine all around them. Bless the beast and the children, give them shelter from the storm. Keep them safe. Keep them warm. Light their way when the darkness surrounds them. Give them love, let it shine all around them. Bless the peace and the children. Give them shelter from the storm. Keep them safe. Keep them warm.
For the beautiful music this morning, and I thought it's so fitting, Sarah. You keep the beast safe and warm yourself, doing so much animal rehabilitation. In a little while, we'll see a video with some of our animals that are in our lives, and Sarah and John put many pictures in of the work that Sarah does with the animals. Thank you so much. So the story I want to share with you this morning starts with a little humor. There's a Unitarian Universalist minister whose prior work was as a veterinarian. And Reverend Laura Kim Joyner wrote some reflections on the meaning of blessings. So according to a common myth, Unitarian Universalists are not people of blessings, exemplified in this popular story. It starts this way. There's a guy who saves for years to buy his dream car, and he finally shells out a fortune for a brand new, shiny red Lamborghini. Recognizing the deeply felt significance of attaining his lifelong dream, he drives to the nearby Catholic church and knocks on the parsonage door and says, "Father, I was wondering if you could offer a blessing on my Lamborghini." "Certainly, my son," replies the priest, "but what's a Lamborghini?" "Sorry to have bothered you, Father. I have a feeling you're not the right person for the job." So the man apologizes and drives to a nearby synagogue and says, "Rabbi, I was wondering if you could bless my new Lamborghini." "Why, certainly." And again, the rabbi says, "What's a Lamborghini?" So he says again in his heart, "I don't think you're the right person for the job, but thank you anyway for your availability." So this ends, of course. You can see it coming. He drives to the UU meeting house and finds a minister. "I was wondering if you could bless my new Lamborghini." And certainly, the minister replies, "But what's a blessing?" Well, Unitarian Universalists are not known for offering blessings in the past, but that is changing. All over the country, UU congregations are doing animal blessings. They are quite the storm, and people love them. But we have to ask ourselves, why are we doing them? We aren't known as a tradition where most of us believe in a supernatural force that blesses, or where clergy have divine powers of blessing. Nor do we feel that there is a need to bless a soul for eternal salvation. Are we doing animal blessings because of superstition or bad theology or cheap methods to arrive at a superficial, warm, fuzzy feeling, without contributing to the overall improvement of the human condition? And in the case of non-human animals, without contributing to all of life? This is an important concern. We worship because we understand how life is valued and how to improve it for ourselves and for others. And do animal blessings do this? I believe that they do, and that there is a deep and spiritual religious understanding that blessings go beyond the simple bless you after a sneeze. Take the example of saying a blessing before a meal. A blessing reminds us that the beings and the objects of the world are not ours to take, but are ours to receive with gratitude. And we become thoughtful of our limits and our necessary independence on all life, and we seek to balance our consumption in all our areas of life, like the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh wrote in A Blessing for a Meal. This food is the gift of the whole universe. The earth, the sky, and much hard work. May we live in a way that is worthy of this food. May we accept this food for the realization of the way of understanding of gratitude and with love. The depth of this blessing is mirrored in the Christian tradition blessing by Dr. Elmer Towns, and he writes, blessing means making things better, improving your life and your services, and does not mean divine intervention. He says that when we bless others, we give value and we give strength and promise and commitment, and we solidify our relationships and increase our potential for others in the world. By being of a greater service to others, we are able to bless our lives and bring riches to the community, connection and belonging and healing and purpose. We are blessed by offering blessings to others. So we do so today, knowing that it's similar to the Buddhist metta practice, which is the process of cultivating gratitude and kindness. The meditation in the Buddhist tradition is, may I be free from danger. May I have mental happiness. May I have physical happiness. May I have ease of well-being. So we today include ourselves in asking for the blessings that flow into our life, and by saying these blessings, we recall our responsibility to ourselves and to others. Each of us comes to a place in our life where we look around and realize we have gratitude for the things around us, and that includes the animals of all forms in our life. All beings have worth and are connected to everything, and we are connected to them. So perhaps a UU blessing would be this. May my understanding of the worth and interdependence of all life comfort me and all the beings and keep them from harm. So when we have animal blessing services, we are reaching deep into Unitarian Universalist tradition to affirm our worth and our interconnectedness. And thus, we are blessed and we are healed by all of those creatures. And I see these two talking to each other. So sweet. So, without more ado, let us now bless the animals. For the blessing of animal companions, we give our thanks. For the beautiful ones, those with fur that is silky and whose tails are long, whose feathers are brilliant and whose voices are splendid, we give thanks. For the frantic ones, the runts and the hungry who run for a food bowl or a pat, for life's last possible gift, we give thanks. For the obnoxious ones, the heads that butt against us when we're trying to sleep, the bodies that refuse to learn discretion as they make digestive gifts, we give thanks. For those who bark and purr and growl and mew, and for all who squeak or squawk or gnarl or hiss, we give thanks. For all the animals unknown to us and whose life's web is fragile. Blessed are the animals, blessed are the creatures who live with us and need our care. Blessed are the mammals and the reptiles and the birds who teach us we are not alone. Blessed are all the living things from which we learn to love. We bless the animals at home, and we bless the animals here and all the animals in our life. Before we invite you to bring your videos up, we will bless the animals at home with this video. And you might see some animals you recognize and a few faces you recognize too. Peekaboo!
This is Jasper. He's a 2-year-old, And my favorite thing about Jasper is he is such a lover. He just loves to just put his head on my shoulder, and he's my buddy. So just say one thing that you like about your dog and name your dog. Come over this way, sweetie, inside the marks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Heidi, and this is Kenzie. And when we adopted her, she's almost 4. When we adopted her, we had no idea that she'd be the most athletic dog that goes to the dog park. Yes. But I have to thank her. She's been really good here. I didn't know.
Okay. Let's see, who else we got over here? Elizabeth.
Hi, this is Buddy. He's 8.5 years old. I don't think he'll ever settle down. He'll always be hyper. But the thing that I love about Buddy is he's my little watchdog. He lays on the back of the couches and looks out the window all the time. That's his spot. And he's very sweet.
Who's coming up next? Oh, we got a billy goat or a baby goat. Okay. Come up here, sweetie. Okay.
And we got another one coming. All right, so this is a doe, and her little bit big brother is coming, and they are a month old. And that's my buck, my little boy, this is my doe, my little girl. And you can see they are goats. They are not pets, but we are going to pretend they are today.
They are animals in our lives.
Yes.
I offer you our blessings and our care and love and help for all your needs.
That's usually what happens.
Anybody else on this side? Okay, we'll stop here in the front.
This is my neighbor's dog, Teddy. He's a cockadoodle, a golden doodle, and I just like to have him in my life, which I do much as possible.
Must act a dog at the dog park.
This is Brandy. She's a 2.5-year-old Australian Shepherd, and when I first got her, she was nipping at my heels, and I said, "Do I look like a sheep?" And I realized she doesn't know what a sheep is. If it moves, she's supposed to go after it.
Anybody back? Oh, Sarah?
I'm Sarah, and I have a 1-week-old, well, probably more like 9-day-old gray squirrel. I rehab wildlife with Wildlife Rehab of Greenville, and so I got this one yesterday. He's not a pet. He will be released into the wild, but he was cat caught, so he's sort of sick today. You know, he's going to have a nebulizer treatment later. So, yeah. So, yeah.
You should see Sarah with her opossums. Anybody else? Ah, Rose.
This is Rose.
Here you go.
This is Rose. She's a mini Bernedoodle, meaning her mom was an 80-pound Bernese mountain dog and her dad was a 10-pound toy poodle. She's very good-natured. She's extremely excited right now.
Rose, may we bless you with love and care, and may hope and love always come your way.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Usually at this time, we have a quiet moment of prayer and meditation. That is not possible today, so instead, let us take a moment to remember those animals who have been in our lives in our childhood and in our adult lives. May we evoke their name now with love and care. I will begin by saying the names in my life of animals that have long passed. Lady from my childhood, Cassidy, Spot, Chappie, and Mojo. May you say the names of animals that have been in your lives in the past. May the special memories of all the furry, feathered, finned family members we have loved and lost comfort us. And may we keep them in our heart always. May they remind us to have patience and playfulness and a sense of renewed responsibility for all the creatures of the earth. May the congregation say amen. Let us sing All Creatures of the Earth and Sky, number 203, and then we'll close our service. Of our service today, we also arrive at the beginning of our ministry and our lives for the rest of the week. We hope that this morning has brought meaning for you, a sense of connection and family, and today we hope it brought you some fun. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the energy of action, or the warmth of commitment. We carry these in our hearts until we are together again. And we close with a really perfect song today. We get by with a little help from our friends, and today, especially our animal friends.
Turn up and walk out me. Let me your reason I sing you a song. I'm not trying to sing I don't king. Oh, I get by a little help with my dog. I'm gonna try a little help from my cat. I'm gonna try a little help from my pet. The son of a tune, I just turn up and all get on me. Why would you leave it within every day? I just sad because you're on your own. Oh, I get by a little help from my dog. I'm gonna try a little help with my cat. I'm gonna try a little help from my pet. Do you need somebody to love? Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Would you believe in a love at first sight? Yes, insisted that it happened all the time. Why did you see when you told of the line? I just sad because you're on your own. Oh, I get by a little help with my dog. I'm gonna try a little help with my cat. I'm gonna try a little help with my pet, with a little help from my pet.